Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. On episode 8 of World Builder Wednesdays, we're looking at Knights of Magic, a world created by the architect Tim and Danny, who were actually contestants on LEGO Masters Australia Season 2. This world is really awesome, as you can tell by the title. It's kind of a throwback medieval-inspired world, but with magic as the central theme. This is, without a doubt, one of the best creations that I've seen on the World Builder platform, and the world here is just so rich with storytelling. That's very clearly seen in these 8 places that have been created, because the main story of this world is that there are 2 kingdoms protected by 4 seasonal schools of magic: the Summer Academy, the Autumn Academy, the Winter Academy, and the Spring Academy. And the 2 kingdoms themselves are based on the sun and the moon. I really love that motif that's been brought in. I think it's really creative, and it helps differentiate it from a lot of other franchises that use magic. So the background here is that a duel between the 2 rulers of the kingdoms releases an old shadowy evil, and there are these 4 students from the different schools that need to team up and work with each other to defeat the enemy. Here are some of the characters that we'll be meeting. We have Sunny, Tundra, Maple, and Bud. Those are the 4 main characters from the different schools, as you can tell by their names. And I have to say that something that I really, really love about this world is how much effort was put into everything. But even down to the point where you have like full arcs laid out for the characters, how they'll help each other grow, how they'll help each other learn. And I just think that that's a really awesome feature to like fully map out a story arc over a season instead of kind of just giving the general beats of it is really interesting, and I would love to see more of that on World Builder. I also like the mix of the actual photographed minifigures as well as the drawn style. I don't know whether or not these are contributions, but they're clearly minifigures, and so I do like that we kind of have 2 distinctive art styles. And something else that I really like are the villain minifigures. You can clearly see that pieces have been reused from Ninjago, from Nexo Knights, even from Hidden Side, but they still, so that way they look familiarly LEGO, but they're still something new to themselves, and I really like that. And when I talk about how well developed Knights of Magic is, I think it's the little touches that really stand out. So there's multiple elements in each category, but then there's even elements like this, like just simple questions that they know that people reading the world are going to have, and so they do their best to explain what they've done here. I really appreciate those little touches, and I even like, they give some background to how they made it and what they were thinking about while they developed this story, including how it'll fit in with LEGO, how there are clear bad guys in case there are sets based on this, and so like how you can differentiate it on the shelf. And there's even an alternate storyline where like one of the queens like goes bad instead of the king, just so that you can have like kind of more balanced genders in the story. I think that it's really interesting that they've paid such close attention to these concepts, and that's not like anything else that I've seen on this platform. You guys know I love checking out the last 3 element categories because I do think that those are often overlooked, and that's not the case here. In fact, their use of world resources is one of the best uses, I think. They've clearly defined a lot of things. We do have some items as well. The one thing I would say, like these blades that are fairly important to the story, I'd love if they were a new mold, because they look a lot like an existing LEGO mold, which, is cool, but I'd also like to see something like really unique. But world transport, I love like the different things that they've created. So they have sky ships. So they're not exactly airships because they don't have like that kind of hot air balloon or like blimp style. But I think that that's just a really clever kind of twist on an existing concept. And I really love how like the transport has been defined in such like an ancient world without kind of like modern technology. If you want to contribute to Knights of Magic, something that I'd personally love to see added to this world would be actual LEGO builds, because the creators have thought about what sets would look like, and I believe that they have been designing some sets, but I think it'd be really awesome if someone else helped contribute to that and add that to the world. Like the places, there are 8 places, but I'd love to see a castle of some sort, like obviously a moon castle and a sun castle for each of the 2 kingdoms, and like some fan art or a fan designed structure would be really awesome. And the same goes for the transport. I love the pictures, but I also really like the physical builds for the carriages, and I think it would be great if someone took a stab at actually building these sky ships. All right, hey everyone. I'm here with Danny and Tim, the architects of Knights of Magic.
Hi.
Hi.
So, how about we start out by just asking you guys, what's your background with Lego? Like, how did you get into the hobby?
Well, for me, I pretty much fell out of the womb liking Lego. It was something that I grew up with as a kid. It was something I never grew out of, literally through all of the teen years and everything like that through high school. It was something that was a hobby. Um, for me, it was mainly I got into Bionicle like super hard. And that's what interested with Lego for most of those years. I've got older brothers, younger brothers who were into Lego, and they sort of drifted in and out. But for me, it's just been a constant thing. And Danny's been a bit more recent.
Yeah, I didn't actually get into Lego much at all until we applied to go on Lego Masters. So that was actually the push for me to get into the hobby. I've always supported Tim in his building, and I have always helped him with his massive creations that have gone to exhibitions, but none of it was my own creation.
And that's actually a great segue because if you guys don't know, Danny and Tim were contestants on Lego Masters Australia season two, and I believe you guys made it almost to the top three. I believe that you were fourth. So I
Yeah.
personally don't
Final.
watch. I personally haven't watched Lego Masters like any of the shows in any of the countries. But I would love for you guys to talk a little bit about that, like how Lego Masters works and your experience on season two.
Yeah. So Lego Masters is pretty much a competition reality game show kind of setup where they, for the Australian version, it's hosted by Hamish Blake, which is an Australian comedian, and Brickman or Ryan McNaught, who is the only Lego certified professional in the Southern Hemisphere, and he is the one in Australia as well. And it's pretty much 16 people in teams of two, going up against each other in head-to-head challenges, and then slowly being eliminated over the course of the entire filming schedule. So there was 8 teams to start with, and we went through the entire season of season 2, getting right up to the end, but eliminated in the semi-finals, which the final 3 are the people who go for the finale. So we literally did the entire show except for the final part. So
So what kind of like things did you have to build on Lego Masters?
Well, the builds that we were best known for was our anglerfish. We had a hanging brick challenge where we just had a brick hanging off of fishing wire or just wire. And we made this massive, monstrous anglerfish. And unfortunately, we had a fin fall off in the last 20 seconds, so we didn't make the top 2 that episode. We did get an honorable mention, which is cool. And the other build we're really well known for, and it's my favorite challenge, was a shaking tower build. We had to build on this platform that would shake violently, and halfway through the challenge I had a bright idea of making popcorn, and so we had this popcorn box with pieces flying out, and we actually won that challenge, and that was amazing. Otherwise, we did challenges like building underwater, above and below, where we had studs on top of the table and underneath the table that we had to use. It was like 2 builds in one almost, wasn't it?
Tallest tower challenges, story challenges. There was a Star Wars challenge in there as well. There was a lot of really crazy stuff. We got to play with explosives. We got to blow stuff up.
So how did you guys find Lego World Builder then?
So Lego World Builder is something that I had sort of heard about ages ago through a YouTuber who made a contribution to the website. So Brotherhood Workshop, who does stop motion Lord of the Rings stuff, made a contribution called Dino Nights that was on the website. And it wasn't until I sort of came back from watching the show, like Lego Masters and stuff like that, and just going, okay, what's the next thing that we can try and do to get involved, that I actually ended up going on a huge binge on his YouTube channel and found his entry to it. And then I went to the website. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I thought it was a really interesting concept. It's not super well circulated out there in communities. And so I thought, yeah, we could try and make something to this, but we need a good concept. And so this was probably about like 6 or 7 months after the actual initial launch, that we actually had a concept and we wanted to actually flesh it out. But it took us quite a while to come up with something that we thought was going to be worthy to be put onto the website.
I wanted to ask, like, how did you come up with the idea for Knights of Magic? Like, did it kind of spin out of like your work with like D&D?
Yes.
Sure,
Yes. Now I love I love magic. Like, there's a lot of TV shows that have started being produced a lot more over the last couple of years. Like, there's The Dragon Prince on Netflix. There's what's it called? The World of Guillermo del Toro and his Wizards and Tales of Arcadia series, where magic is now being sort of reintroduced back into like pop culture in a inviting and interesting way where you can really explore how it all works. And I love that. I am absolutely obsessed with magic. Magic is so interesting to me, and it can be done in so many different ways. But if you think about like castle things like Lego have done, every single time that there is a wizard in there, it is either the bad guy or this like Merlin character that stands on the side. And I wanted to sort of lean hard into the magic thing, going, why is it that the bad guys can use magic and only one good guy can? Why can't they just all use magic? So, and then I came up with the idea, what if they're all wizards? Well, okay, we could do all wizards, but that sort of overlaps with a few things already. How about we try and make it different and twist it a little bit, where we combine knights with magic and make something out of that.
I really love, in particular, like the whole idea of having like the 4 different like academies of magic, and then they're all associated with seasons. I thought that was really clever. Like the sun and the moon thing with the kings, and then having the seasons in there. I think that that's a really cool little twist.
I really liked the idea of bringing the seasons into it, but I didn't want to create something where it's like, okay, summer has the power of fire magic and winter has the power of cold magic. Because as much as Ninjago is very successful, and I do like the Ninjago storyline, you can't overlap, you can't mesh that because it's not creating something different. So we sort of lent into motifs and metaphors behind that and go, okay, summer, right? Yeah, it could be hot, but people also think like, let's say the spark of creation is hot. Don't we make them an Academy of Summer, but they're also focused on inventions. And you think of like winter, you think of cold, you think of sort of grim survival. So why not go towards defense? So we thought, rather than do the cliche thing of elements, why not give them all these unique forms of magic that they each have to each other? And even better for that as well was because it's magic, people can learn magic. And like one of our favorite play elements, which is shapeshifting, which we've got some of the little fun things here on the side. This is a new one that's not on the website just yet. Kids are going to pick up a minifigure as a set at home and go, I like this person, but I don't want to be this person over here is the one that can turn into a scorpion, but I want him to turn into a scorpion. So we actually made it part of the story that person can learn how to do that, because kids will do that as part of their own narrative and way of engaging with the toys.
Yeah, and going back to the whole element thing for a second, I was definitely expecting like the summer person to have fire magic, especially because Sunny is like dressed in red, and so I do like that you kind of subverted that expectation, and yes, having them be able to learn magic. I loved how with the character arcs, it's like, oh, like they have to open up to each other, and then they're gonna learn new things from each other, and then I feel like that really does help to bring the characters closer together as a group. So how have you collaborated with other users on like a world builder? Like what kind of things have people contributed to your world?
So for the most part, as of now, because it's still a relatively new project, we're getting a lot of people giving feedback in regards to our story. Some people weighing in on is it better to have 2 queens or 1 king and queen conversation? But we have always expressed that we are open to contributions. And even on our personal Instagram, our latest like shape-shifting creature, which is Scorpion, which has got one of the people underneath on it there. This was a suggestion by somebody on our Instagram to add towards the world.
It's actually one of the new Lego Masters that suggested
it. It's actually one of the people from Lego Masters on season 3. And our artwork that's on the website as well, with like the details for like the logo for it, has actually been done by one of the season 2 contestants, which his name is Jay. He's a graphic designer. He's made an account on Lego World Builder to support the project, but he's doing so much stuff behind the scenes that I can't even begin to explain. He's been doing animations, he's been doing all the graphic overlays, everything like that. He's been doing the touch-ups to make magic look like magic's happening, because he is just as excited about being part of this project as we are. So it's picking up for something that's been alive for like a week.
Yeah, I think it definitely made a big impact on us. As soon as we saw it go up, we were like, oh, like wow, like what's this world? Like that's really awesome. And it's great to hear that you're collaborating with all of these other Lego Masters contestants, both on the site and off. So what would you say has been your favorite part of Lego World Builder?
Ooh, that's really tricky. Like, I mean, the opportunities are my favorite things, and the just because it really brings out a new creative twist in other people. Like, a lot of people will sit at home and go, "I've got a really cool idea about." Let's pretend I'm making a Lego set series, but they won't ever do anything about it because they don't think they have the power to do so. But it's a collaboration online platform. Whether you can do something or not, somebody out there can potentially help contribute to your project. We're very lucky in the fact that I can't draw, but Danny can. I can do some really intricate builds coming up with a new play feature, and Danny struggles with that. So we're very lucky that we've got within the household that, but if somebody at home by themselves thinks I can't do it, there is people out there that can do it for them, and that's one of the coolest things.
And I like, it was just today, I had someone get really inspired by the shape-shifting feature, and right away they were trying to make things and they were sharing the pictures, but they were lacking a little bit of confidence with their build. So I said, you know what, the idea is great, we can always just develop it, you know, with what you've suggested. And yeah, just knowing that they're already inspired by something we've made, that was pretty cool.
So that does it for today's episode of World Builder Wednesdays. There's a ton of awesome worlds trending right now that you guys can go ahead and take a look at and just jump right in on collaboration if that's what you're looking for, or go ahead and go to the Create tab to just make your own world from scratch. But that's it for today, so don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com. I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.